Hi guys, Big Monday here, and today I'm bringing you a quick summary of the gameplay update for Dota 2, the 6.84 patch. Now a lot of people are calling this the AGS patch because there's a massive lot of changes to the Aghanim Scepter upgrade. I'm not going to go over them in too much detail, we'll just skim them. I just want to do this as sort of a summary. If you want to see everything in the most minute detail and see everything discussed, head over to Dota Cinema's channel. They've done like a 4-hour fine-tooth comb, go through everything. And they've really gone into massive detail. I'm sure you can find a load of other videos going about through it in massive detail, but I just want to go over the sort of big changes now. So we'll just go down and go through some of the highlights here. So it's quite significant that we've got Enchantress and Shen in the image at the top here. Jungling has changed quite a lot, but we'll go through it in order. So AoE bonus gold. Okay, so lane creep bounty has been reduced, and range creep. Both lane creeps gold has been reduced, and hero kills are worth 10% more. So we're encouraging fighting here. Now the AoE gold has been reworked a bit. The team net worth has been reduced by 25%, the bonus you get from that, and the XP has been reduced by 40%. And there is a slight change to that. It can be buffed from other things as we go through this, but basically the massive rubber band where if you were behind by like 20k net worth, you win one fight, you're straight back in the game. That's not going to happen anymore. We are still giving teams this sort of advantage. If you win a fight when you're on the back foot, you're still going to get a big advantage for it. A big load of bonus gold and bonus experience, but it's just not quite this sort of rubber band that Dota has. It's not this massive industrial rubber band anymore. It's still there, but it's just not quite as powerful. Now, there's been a lot of small reworks in how the AoE gold works. Basically, we're trying to help our supports out here. We're trying to get our entire team to be balanced. I mean, sometimes you'll see people with like 20, 30k net worths, and then they've got a support who's still on 5k. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to balance that out a little bit. I mean, the guy getting the most kills is still being rewarded the most, but so there's still going to be some focus on making sure your carry gets the kills, make sure the right person gets the farm. But what we're trying to do is we're going to say, well, when I've got two supports supporting a kill with loads of disables, they need to get something back for it too. It needs to be worth them committing their time, and they need to be coming out of a game feeling like they've had an impact. And this is what all these changes are for. So we've reduced the direct last hit bounty by 100, and that gold goes into AoE gold. So it's sort of split depending on the amount of heroes that are there, but basically your team gets the same amount of gold, but 100 of that gold is split between everyone contributing to the kill. So if you are solo killing, you're going to get exactly the same amount. If you are killing with 5 of you there, each of you is going to get 20 of that 100 gold. So it's just to split it a little bit. AoE bonus gold is now distributed based on the relative net worth amongst heroes involved in killing the hero by plus or minus 25%. And the idea of this is, if you've got a guy who's having a really bad game, one of the problems in there is it's quite difficult to recover from a bad game. I mean, you could make sort of two mistakes in the early game, and then you're so far behind it's really hard to catch up. So what this is doing, this is turning around and saying, look, contribute to the team still, be in fights, and we will help you. We will give you more gold. So basically, if you are the lowest net worth on your team, this AoE gold, you're going to get 25% extra. If you're the highest net worth, what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, you don't really need it. You need to sort of help your team out, give them some of the gold. So that's what this is going to do. It's the guy who's got the insane net worth on your team is going to get 25% less, and the guy who's really struggling is going to get 25% more. That's assuming they all contribute to the fight, of course. They've actually got to be in the fight to get this AoE gold. So amount of AoE bonus gold given is increased and decreased by up to 20% based on the dying hero's relative rank in the net worth amongst all enemies on that team. So basically what it's going to do is, if they are let me just read the extra tip on this, because total area golf would normally have been 600. If the dying hero is the lowest in net worth, the bounty is reduced. So you kill a weakling on your enemy team. Let's say there's a guy on the enemy team who's 0 for 10. He's having a really bad game. Everybody just sees him and just blows him up instantly. Basically what you're going to do, every time you blow him up, you're going to get 20% less gold, because that guy is really easy to kill. It's just not worth killing. It's like, so what Valve are saying here is like, this guy is not worth killing. Leave him alone. And if he's the highest net worth, this guy is an absolute monster. He's really hard to kill. You get 20% more gold. So again, this sort of balances out the guy who's behind, sort of reverse snowballing here, where it takes away some of the incentive for them to focus the guy who's struggling. In a lot of games you'll see somebody struggling a bit, he's got no way of keeping himself alive, so they just blow him up. And when that happens, he'll spend sort of 10 minutes where he just can't get any gold at all to buy items to keep himself alive anymore, and all of a sudden the game is 4v5. There's just no point in him contributing at all. And this reduces that reverse snowball slightly. Again, we've got a change to the barracks bounties to improve the team. So we're giving more towards the team here again. So there's basically, most of these changes are trying to balance the amount of gold on your team. We're not going to have any more of this one guy with 30k net worth, one with 5. What we're going to do is we're going to bring that 30k down to 20k and that 5k up to 10k. So there's still going to be a difference in net worth. The guy who is having an absolute monster game, he's still going to be at the top of the net worth chart. But what he's going to do is, while he's getting to the top, he's dragging his team up with him, and he's giving away some of what he's got to help his team. So another significant change, they have reduced the amount of gold all the jungle creeps give to be less gold. It's less gold now. So okay, we've got changes later on that encourage fighting and encourage making sure everybody turns up to a fight. We've also reduced the amount of gold in jungling. So jungling efficiency is still going to be important. That you're still going to have stacking and cleaning up stacks is still going to give your team a significant advantage, but it's going to be less of an advantage. So when you're sitting thinking, should we fight, should we jungle, now you're going to lean more towards let's go fight, and this makes Dota much more exciting. The most significant one is the mud golems. Mud golems are now no longer spell immune. They do have a 50% magic resistance, but no longer spell immune. Now their armor has also been reduced, and they have this lovely new spell where they split when they die into shard golems, and they have reduced health and damage, and they only live for 60 seconds. If you don't kill them, you don't clean them up, they're going to go away eventually anyway. But this is great for supports, because quite often what you'll see is your carry will be in lane, he'll be pushing around the lane, and you're a support, you're not having a great game. You're like, oh well, while he's taking the lane farm, I'm going to take this jungle farm. So I'm going to stay close enough to help him if things get in trouble, but I'm going to take this jungle farm and try and get a bit of catch-up gold for myself. Pay for all these dozens of wards I'm buying. And then you'll find mud golems. You're like, man, all I can do now is just sit in the jungle and wait. And now it's fine, because you can still kill these mud golems, because the trouble is most supports, they tend to be spell based. They're not going to have a lot of right click damage to kill them normally, so they've either got to contribute a lot of time to kill them, or they're going to lose a lot of health. So now you can kill them with spells, you can stun them, and whatever else. they do have this lovely new stun ability. They can hurl boulder. They don't use that themselves, but they can apply a 0.6 second stun. So Shen, Enchantress, you're gonna love these guys. Okay. Again, another buff to people with summoned or controlled units. Hero kills achieved by units under your control now provide XP credit to your hero. This is a massive buff to people like Nature's Prophet, and basically anyone with summons, anyone who works heavily on summons or controlled units. If you have, let's say you're playing an Enchantress, you're like, well, I don't want this creep anymore, but the guy in mid needs it, so I'm going to send it and help him get a kill, and then I'll just take over another one. So you send your creep in, you get a kill with the creep, the guy in mid's like, man, I needed that gold, and you're like, well, dude, oh, we don't get shit now, because it was killed by one of my creeps and I wasn't there. Well, when you get those, globally, you get the XP credit to your hero. So if you're an absolute master of micro now, going around like absolutely destroying people with creeps, you're still going to be able to level up, which is brilliant. Okay, melee attacks now miss if the target is further than 350 range away. This is fantastic. It's ridiculous. Sometimes you'll see like Axe, and he's got his massive axe, and he's got like 3 different types of attack speed slow on him, and he goes to swing it, and the guy's running away, and the guy's like 1,000 units away by the time Axe swings his axe. But he's like, you know what? I was swinging, so I'm going to carry on swinging, and it hits for some magical reason. Well, not going to happen anymore. 350 range, that's all you got. Now here's quite a big change. You might want to. I'm not going to go through all these abilities, but if you want to read them all, pause the video, take a look. A lot of abilities no longer ignore units classified as ancients. So I, for example, will play some certain nukers that jungle well against normal guys, but they're terrible on ancients. Now I can kill ancients. So straight away, when I've got downtime and I'm jungling, I can kill ancients. I played a game earlier today with this kicking in. Heartstopper Aura now kills ancients, and basically I had a Necrophos. He was mid until he got a couple of levels of Heartstopper. He had a Marana stack ancients for him in the meantime, and then he just went and carried on stacking. It takes ages. It took him a while to kill him, but he just sort of walks back and forth and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks, and he got a really fast ags from this. Really, I mean, there's loads of abilities. It's really worth you going through this, seeing if there's any heroes you play regularly. Take a look at how these affect it. Suicide Squad's a good one. You know, sometimes you'll use that to deny yourself, but if you're going to do that, you're near ancients. I can kill an ancient while I'm at it. So really good. Right, we'll skip over those. Okay, reworked item silencing and passive disabling behaviours. There is now 2 new mechanics in the game called mute and break. Now these, they just sort of split the definition of existing silences. So before we had silence, which silences active spells, and then we had item silencing, which silenced items. So now they're just going to call the item silencing mute. So it pretty much what it does exactly the same, but it's called mute now. Break is what they call disabling passives. So at the minute there are some stuff that silences actives and silences passives. Now what it's going to do is it's going to silence and break, and it means the same thing. There are a lot of changes to how to what are going to be silenced when they're passive. So where things were silenced as passives before, they're not going to be broken now. So there's a big list here of what is going to be disabled with break. Got a list, and big significant change: Hex no longer applies break. So if you using Scythe of Vice, or you play Lion, or Shadow Shaman, you hex somebody and they've got an evasion or a damage resistance, it doesn't break anymore, so they still get that passive. Silence no longer disables invisibility. I think this is mostly for people like Ricky, who have a passive invisibility, because silence doesn't break anymore. He's still going to be able to go invisible. Okay, so there's been a little bit of juggling of items in the shop, so take a quick look, see what there is. It's not a massive change. They've juggled a few things around. It's not that big a deal. Runes now have a higher hitbox priority over units. So you'll notice this since they brought in the runes, and now everybody fights for the runes. Somebody will get there first, and he's like, well, I know I've got backup. I know I can tank any damage they throw at me, so I'm just going to stand on the rune and I can then just spam it. And if the other team tries to click on the rune, they just click on the hero. So now we've got this this higher hitbox priority, so the rune will be the first thing you click on. So there's no more standing over the rune to block it. Okay. There's a lot of hero changes now. Most of the hero changes, massive list of changes. Most of them are relatively small, and generally they encourage fighting. A lot of them have got changes where they can now cast their ability on an ally as well as on themselves. Weaver's an example for that. Alchemist can now cast an Aghanim Scepter to grant an allied hero all of the scepter bonuses as a buff. So if you think you're a hero who doesn't usually get a scepter, you're like, oh, it's good, but I'd rather have these other items. Like, well, now you can have both. Alchemist can farm one for you. So no more will you ever steal Alchemist farm, because he'll buy you a scepter. You can. I'm not sure if this works where you can do it multiple times. I think he probably can. But basically, this is ridiculously good. I mean, sometimes being able to sort of, it kind of makes him like a farming support, which is weird, and I can't quite grasp how that'd work in a game. But this is a really nice buff. There's a lot of people who don't get Ags who are now going to get a free one from Alchemist, which is amazingly good. Now there's a change to how anything that returns damage works. Axe's counter helix is sort of the first example on the list. You may have noticed, particularly if you play a ranged hero. I play a lot of ranged heroes with slow attack speed. Their animations are massive. And what you do is you go to attack Axe or Centaur, and as soon as you click to attack, he can do a counter helix. And sometimes you go to click him and you think, oh damn, my teammate is next to him, maybe I should not attack him, and you cancel your attack. Well, got a fly in here, go away. You cancel your attack, so, but it doesn't matter, you've already done the damage. You've already destroyed your teammate by causing a counter helix. Now what this is going to do, it is only going to trigger when the attack lands. I'm not sure if that's the same thing as when it hits, because one of the things with Axe's counter helix is it can be triggered if you evade the attack, which is interesting. So it waits for the attack to land, so it's got to reach Axe first, which isn't going to make a big difference to you guys playing melee heroes or people with massively high attack speed. But it is going to make a massive difference to like slow ranged heroes. It's a massive nerf to any hero who has that sort of ability. So I think it affects. Oh, it's Timbersaw's reactive armor as well. I think the big ones though is going to be Axe, because he damages everyone around him. So if you have somebody, I played a game with Alchemist once, and I say, look, you need crit for Axe. Do not hit him fast lots of times, or you'll just murder us all. And Axe would just blink in, and he'd Berserkers call a couple of us, and then our alchemist is like, yeah guys, I got this, and he'll like dive in with his Mjolnir and his assault cuirass, beat the crap out of Axe, and he's like, guys, I killed Axe. I'm like, but you killed us too. You literally murdered us all. It was like, none of us had high attack speed. If you'd have left him alone, we'd have been fine. But no. And then of course the rest of the enemy team collapses on him, and we lose. But anyway, moving on. Okay, I don't think any of these are that significant. A couple of minor changes. Again, minor. I'll put a link up somewhere. You guys can have a look through all this in detail. Legion Commander. This has got to be the most underwhelming, amazing Ags buff ever. I watched a game with Balmy with this. Basically, Aghanim Scepter with Legion Commander. Loads of people have been asking for it for ages. They're like, please make it unlimited dual length. And Valve responded and went, okay, we'll give you unlimited dual length. It basically, the duel will go on until somebody dies. And Balmy played a stupid game where he's like trying to get a fight that goes on. He picks somebody tanky and have a fight that goes on forever. And it just doesn't work, because either team will just collapse on the duel and kill one of them. So it sounds amazing, but think about it to yourself. How many times do you have a duel where you're completely unsupported by both teams? It doesn't happen very often. Now we may see Legion Commander maybe pick up a few more mobility items and try looking round for the pick-off kills a lot more, but we'll see. But for the most part, I think it's very underwhelming. This is one of the coolest abilities in the game as far as I'm concerned. I almost never play Lifestealer, do occasionally. Is Ag's Upgrade. It gives him yet another new ability, Assimilate. So he can basically eat a teammate. So Lifestealer can eat you, and then he can climb in another teammate, and all three of you can go inside Spirit Breaker, charging across the map. Or even IO, so we can take four of you, which is just insane. And it does quite a decent amount of damage as you erupt, but because you can sort of do this double erupt, it's kind of weird. I mean, Lifestealer can eat Centaur Warrunner, and then they can both climb inside Queen of Pain in her tiny, small frame. I'm like, not quite sure how this works, but hey, it's magic. Who cares? But this ability is cool as hell. Now, where you've got these sort of drop in the Nakes bomb combos, where you'll get like Nakes will jump in a Spirit Breaker or it go around with somebody with IO and just blow somebody up. Well, now you've got Nakes inside Spirit Breaker with Centaur inside him too. It's just horrible. It's a lot of fun. I think it might now be too good there because you can combo it so many different ways. I think it's probably going to be a little bit too good. This may get nerfed. Maybe the damage will be reduced, or at least the AoE dropped. But we'll see. Again, not that big a deal for the rest of them. Aghanim Scepter upgrade to Nyx. Now this is a fantastic change. It adds him a new ability, Burrow. He's got a 1 second cast time. While he's burrowed, he's invisible and unable to move or attack, but he's got 40% damage resistance, and he regenerates 1.5% of his health, which is really good. It's quite a good health regen, and his mana. So basically, you're Nyx, you're out in the sticks, you're like, man, I'm like screwed. I don't have a TP. You know what? I'm just gonna burrow here and hide. Hopefully no one sees me, but even if they do, I got magic resistance. I'll be fine. And a lot of his abilities get improved while he's burrowed. His Mana Burn and Impale have 50% increased cast range. His Impale's cooldown is reduced. His Spike Carapace instantly stuns any enemy within 300 area without requiring them to hurt him first.
So basically, cast Spike, Carapace, instant stun to anyone. So he can't really move while he's in this, but if you try and jump on him, he's pretty hard to get to, which I think really sort of enhances. This just enhances Nyx's playstyle, because Nyx will just sort of appear a bit, and once he appears, he'll like murder somebody, and then you all jump on him, but he just buggers off, and he's gone, and you can't do shit about it, and you try chasing him, but you just get stunned, and now he's just gonna. This makes it even harder to get him. But anyway, moving on. I'll skip all these because we've got the one of. Here's a brilliant change. And Techie's Aghanim Scepter upgrade now causes the minefield sign to make all landmines, stasis traps, and remote mines with an 125 area of effect immune to true sight. Now the minefield sign now has a massive cooldown and a limited lifetime, and you can only have one out at a time. But this is a brilliant change. I mean, techies can be such a pain. You buy a gem and he's basically screwed, or you put sentries down and techies is useless. So now we've got this thing where at least he can help on defense, because he can come out, he can put this sign up at your towers, you can put a load of mines down, and even with True Sight they can't reveal them, which is, it needed to be done. Techies needed a buff. His stasis traps delays has also been significantly reduced. I have played a couple of games where you sort of team fight techies. People ignore techies because he's so shit, but basically you drop stasis traps in the middle of a team fight, and what this forces the enemy team to either back out or get stunned for a huge duration. And this makes that a little bit easier for you to get them and a little bit harder for them to retreat. But I mean, they'll see the mine go down and like, yeah, it's only techies, just leave him. It's fine. But now he's going to be a little bit better at team fighting. Okay, moving on. Nothing. Well, okay, nothing massive. Brilliant one to Weaver. Aghanim Scepter upgrade reduces the cooldown of time lapse to 20 seconds and allows him to target allies. So you've got somebody really tanky like an axe, a centaur, a pudge, somebody with massive health. You're like, you know what? You just committed everything to nearly kill him. Boof! Now he's full health again, which is really great. You can use that to save allies when they get jumped on. I mean, a lot of Weavers, they'll get jumped on, they'll use time lapse. It's like, man, that's so annoying. Well, now your whole team has that. Okay, we'll quickly go over Winter Wyvern. Winter Wyvern is now in Captain's mode, and they've reworked Winter's Curse a bit. So, the people who are attacking the guy in the middle get 75% less damage from all types of damage. The area effect has been increased, and the duration has been increased. And I think the idea of this is Winter's Curse, the ability, the whole idea behind it is make people kill that guy, and what a lot of people do is as a two-person stun. Like you'll cast it on one person and then you'll kill the other, which is it's useful, yes, but I think it's just not how the ability they wanted it to work. So by changing it like this, yeah, you can still hammer that other guy if you really want to, but it's not going to do that much, so it's probably best if you just wail on this guy in the middle. I still think with the damage reduction to everyone else, the buff to the duration needed to be slightly longer, but it's not bad. It's still a pretty good ability. I mean, it's the area of effect that's the big deal with this, because placing it to catch multiple heroes, which was often the problem, whereas now a little bit bigger area of effect, that's going to be a little bit easier. Okay, load of other change. Right, here is one of the biggest changes to Dota's items. In fact, it's the biggest one I've seen for years. There are loads of new items in the game. So the first one, Enchanted Mango. When you're playing that support and you're popping clarities and like the other team's like, no, you're not having a clarity. You're like, man, I need you to just carry on fighting. Well, you got this Enchanted Mango. It gives you 150 mana instantly, and you can feed it to an ally. But it is a little bit expensive, so to make it great, it gives you 1 HP regeneration while you're carrying it, which is useful. You can't stack more than 1 in a slot, but it is still a really useful item. Now, all those times where you're like, a clarity won't help, where you drop a nuke and you're like, man, if I only had that mana, I could kill that guy. Mango to the rescue. So, next we have the Lotus Orb. A new item form from a Perseverance, a Plate Mail, and a Recipe. Total cost just over 4 grand. And this is a really weird ability. You cast the active on someone, and it dispels negative buffs, and it applies an Echo Shell to them for 6 seconds. And what that does is, whenever somebody casts a spell on somebody with the Echo Shell, it casts the same spell back. I'm not sure, and this is, it works the same as Lincoln's with the targeting, but whereas Lincoln blocks it, this returns it. So if you have like Lina ult on you still take the damage from the Lina's ult, but she takes the damage too. She gets it back, which is, it's kind of like the Nuka's Blade Mail. It's a Blade Mail to kill Nukas. I mean, basically you've got a Blade Mail at the minute. PA dives in, and this works the same, but it only works against Nukas. So yeah, there's so many ways this can be awesome, but it gives quite a decent mana regen, so it's going to be quite good on supports anyway. A lot of the time, supports, they want a bit of mana regen. So you put this on a support, your carry gets jumped on, everybody throws nukes at your carry, put this on him, everybody gets nuked back, which is great. It's fantastic. Okay, Glimmer Cape. This is a really irritating item on people like PA. What it is, we upgrade the Shadow Amulet, because at the minute, most people buy a Shadow Amulet and it turns into the Shadow Blade, and it's like, yeah, it does nothing else. And but now we can turn it into a cloak, and it's now kind of a support item. It gives you decent attack speed and some magic resistance, which is useful. But what's really good about it is we can target. You can target any allied unit and turn it invisible. It's got a 0.4 second fade time. The guy gets magic resistance and 0.4 seconds, and they got 5 seconds of invisibility. And you get like a PA who she can like blink in, kill someone, go invisible, walk up to someone else, kill them. And it's like man, this is really annoying. But it's a really fun change as well. I mean, you'll see someone sort of the graphics for it look really good. They'll sort of fizzle in and out as they're moving around the battlefield, because any attacking, casting spells, anything like that would normally break invisibility, it breaks invisibility, and then they get the 4 second fade, 0.4 second fade time again. So it looks really, really weird. Now, Guardian Greaves, I love this one. This is basically you get your mech, you get your arcane boots, bang, one item. It's if you have any supports that sort of pick up one or the other, it's now probably a good idea to pick up both. It can be a bit expensive, but it's a really, really good item. It gives +5 all stats as well, so who's going to complain about that? It's as a support, you quite often get these active items like the heals, and you end up buying all your wards. You don't get any stats, you don't get any health. So +5 all stats, quite useful. It's okay. Okay, moving on. Moon Shard. This one's really cool. 2 Hyperstones and a recipe. Really basic, but it gives you this. It gives you this passive. It gives you 250 bonus night vision when it's in your inventory, and it works against Night Stalker's Darkness. So you are the sort of hero that's going to go on ganks. This is great. You can find it at night time, go around, gank people. But this is the amazing bit. It can be consumed to gain a permanent 60 attack speed buff, which is just ridiculous. I don't get. I mean, there's a lot of items in this patch where they can be consumed for something, and this is just amazing. I mean, you get a couple of games. Sometimes you see a game, they go on and on and on and on, and both teams are just fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting, and just nobody can effectively push uphill. And you'll get sort of 2 or 3 players on each team that have just got loads of gold. And they're like, man, I'm 6-slotted. What do I spend it on? Well, now there's a few items you can, like this, that you can, a permanent 60 attack speed buff. It doesn't have to be on. It's just. I mean, you could buy this early if you want the attack speed, and then later you can consume the attack speed and get a damage item. So, really, really unusual, but really good item. Silver Edge. Now this is basically like an Uber Shadow Blade. It's basically, I mean, Shadow Blade feels kind of underwhelming on a lot of heroes. There's a lot of heroes that are like, they're a damage hero. Shadow Blade gives a bit, but it's not that big a deal. And Shadow Blade in my book should be an initiation item. Goddamn fly. Shadow Blade should be an initiation item. You should break the invisibility to initiate, preferably towards the end of its cooldown, so you've got the option to run away. But most people just use it as an escape, which I don't agree with. I mean, it's there if you need it, but usually you should be using it to initiate for the bonus damage. But basically, the Shadow Walk with this, it now deals 225 damage. It applies break, so all passive abilities get disabled, and it reduces the target's damage output by 40% for 5 seconds. So this is a brilliant initiation. I can see this working quite well with Legion Commander and her sort of unlimited length duels. You go in with this, jump on them, big damage to the start, and they just can't do anything to you. If you've got heroes like PA with passive evasion, it breaks it. So, or I think that would count for like counter helix and stuff like that as well. So, really good way to take out people like that. So, Solar Crest. This is from the Medallion of Courage and the Talisman of Evasion. And I thought something needed to be done with the Medallion of Courage for a long time, and it was kind of. It was a nice item to have, but I see a lot of people, when they get a bit richer later, they dump it. So it needed some way of being better. So this is basically a better Medallion of Courage. It gives you some evasion as well, it gives you mana regen, gives you armor, and the active ability is along the same lines as the Medallion of Courage, but it's just better. It's just more armor, gives people evasion. And it works the same. You can cast it on your team, or you can cast it on the enemy team. So it's exactly the same, but better. Okay, Octarine Core. This one's really cool. This is a lifesteal for nukers. Basically, you make one of these as a nuker, which again, quite often you'll be a support. It gives you a decent boost to health, which is often a problem on a nuker. It gives you 25 intelligence, which is going to give you some more right click. Again, not what you're going to be aiming for, but it's good. I think Lena here, with her ridiculous attack speed after she's cast spells, gives you good mana regen. It's not amazing, it's not like the Refresher Orb or the Bloodstone or anything like that, but it's good mana regeneration. Now, what really makes the nukers absolutely devastating, it reduces all your cooldowns by 25%. And this, when you've got low cooldown nukers like Zeus, like Lena, this is devastating. This is absolutely devastating. The lifesteal is 25% from heroes, 5% from creeps, and it's all damage dealt from spells. So 25%, you're like, yeah, that's not that much for. I mean, you cast a spell that does 200 damage. It's only 25%. You're only going to heal 50. It's like, well, I just cast a 200 damage spell over 5 heroes, so I've just healed 250 damage from a 200 damage spell, which is ridiculous.
This is absolutely amazing. I mean, a lot of people keep thinking like Lion's ult, Lena's ult. Yes, that will be good, but to me, the really devastating ones to this are going to be the AoE ones, the ones that target multiple targets, the ones that you can cast again and again and again and again. And they're the ones that are going to be the really devastating one, because they're the ones that are going to give you... Laguna Blade, for example, could heal you almost from no health to full, like that. But being able to cast weaker spells again and again and again and again is going to give you sustainability in fights, which is going to... Again, this is a buff to supports and sort of the weaker cores that get blown up easily. We're trying to drag nukers into the late game, whereas at the minute, before this patch, it was all about hard carries. Now we're dragging nukers into the late game and dragging supports into the late game. So yeah, it's going to cost nearly $6,000 to build, but if you pick up this on a late game, on a support in the late game, you were starting to drop off. All of a sudden, you're useful again. Okay, item changes. Now these are 2 item additions. This one needed to happen. Something needed to be done with it. It needs to be done for quite a while. Now, observers and sentry wards now stack into one inventory slot. Double clicking toggles which ward type is active. So a lot of the time, if you're playing a support, you'll know the problem. Everybody needs to carry TPs. You need to carry boots, and you need to carry sentry wards and observer wards. There's 4. You've, for whatever reason, needed some regen. There's 5 slots. Even if you get another item, you got nowhere to put it. You got 1 slot left. You're like, man, how do I even build items? And you'll know if you play support regularly, you'll regularly come into the problem is like, guys, I need to build this item now. Can somebody pick up these wards? Like, I'll buy them, but carry them for me. And they're like, okay, and nobody picks them up. And then people start going, oh, no wards. They're like, man, there's wards. Just use them. Well, now they're not going to take up as much space. The guys, I think it was the guys at Dota Cinema, suggested that you have a 7th inventory slot that can be wards only. I like that idea better, but this one's really good. It's that no matter how many wards you've got, they're only going to take 1 slot. So, Boots of Travel already got a buff by having its cooldown reduced, but now Boots of Travel can be upgraded again, and it allows you to teleport to heroes. So think Nature's Prophet jumping on somebody solo. You can now teleport to Nature's Prophet as he jumps on someone. So let's say let's say we've got 2 people pushing bottom lane, 2 people pushing top lane, and 1 missing. If you've all got these upgraded Boots of Travel, you can go, right, okay, we go anywhere. Just pick one, Nature's, you go in, we'll all come. So there'll be 5 of us versus, at worst, 3 of them. And you just murder them, and then for 45 seconds later, you go to the other lane. It gives your team this insane mobility and this ability to just be anywhere all the time. Every 45 seconds, your whole team can be anywhere. Okay, so we'll skip through these. Not that many significant changes to items. Abyssal Blade and Skull Basher. There was a lot of characters that were banned from buying these items, but like Spirit Breaker, for example, was banned from buying them. Now he can buy it, but he can't bash from it. So generally, characters with bash couldn't buy these. They can now buy them, but can't bash from them. Which, for Skull Basher, why would you want it? But then you get to the Abyssal Blade, and the Abyssal Blade has a really good stun. And a lot of the time these are on strength heroes. It gives it a bit of strength and damage anyway. So
Abyssal Blade could be useful on those like Spirit Breaker, for example. You could charge across the map to 2 people now instead of 1 solo pick-off, stun one guy, kill the other with bashes. By the time the stun runs off, you turn around and kill him with bashes. So it could be really good in certain situations. I'm not sure it's going to be a popular item, but it could be useful. Okay, most of the other stuff, some minor changes. Oh, Necro! I like the Necro one. Necro all the Necros basically got a buff. The more health, more damage. So they're going to be pretty tough. Observer wards can now be bought in single increments. Finally, cost and restock time have been halved. So instead of 150 for 2 wards, it now costs 75 for 1 ward. Again, as a support who's really poor on gold, you'll often find you're like, oh man, I really need my boots, but I've only got 75 gold then to buy a ward. But we really need wards. You're like, you know what? I'll buy my boots and 1 ward now, which is great. The stock has also been doubled, so if you've been a bad support for a little while because you needed to build your ags and you've not bought wards for a while, then you can buy even more wards. You can put them everywhere and just have loads of vision. Or does that count the pairs? I'm not sure if that counts the pairs now, or it's just doubled so that there's still 4. We'll see. Who cares? Power Tread's been buffed again in the bonus attribute. I really like that they keep buffing it, because it only really gives a massive bonus to those of us that can tread switch effectively. To everyone else, it's like, meh, it's like Iron Branch, who cares? Okay, Refresher has been reworked. It now requires 2 perseverances. I think they're sort of focusing it to the fact that this is generally going to be bought by nukers. So they're like, why do I want attack speed and damage? I'm a nuker. Again, everything else, minor changes. Vlad's now grants 10% lifesteal to ranged heroes. So many times I've seen people pick this up and they're like, well, I've got Sniper, Drow, Medusa. Like, why have you bought this? Why? It's pointless. Well, now those people will be slightly less stupid, and you are now going to get more value if it's worth buying a Vlad. Because let's face it, this is not very often it's an all melee team. But now, at least the ranged hero is going to get something. Probably a little too good for a sniper to be able to get Satanic, Vlads, and then a ton of damage, but what the hell? I think Sniper got a nerf this patch anyway. So, guys, like I said, this has gone on a lot longer than I intended anyway, but there's a lot to go over. So, check out Dota Cinema's videos. They've got a load of videos looking at all the finer details of this. So they've got videos of all the Ags upgrades in action, I think, videos of the new items. I'm going to put up some videos of the stuff like that, but not in as much detail. I mean, you know, Dota Cinema's done it. Dota Cinema's popular. Go look at those guys for the massive details. And after this, just go get in game, guys. Go and enjoy these changes. They are pretty awesome. So, and I think that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know if there's anything I've got wrong. I don't think so. Let me know in the comments if you've got any sort of weird strats that you've managed to sort of come up with the new patch. There's a few that I've sort of been thinking of now, but I'm not sure they're going to work. So we'll go over them later. So guys, hope you've enjoyed watching. Have a great day, guys. Bye bye.